Now I'm in the center. Yeah. I have recently discovered that I am free. Finally, after 17 and a half years, I'm free. Finally free of the absurd, nonsensical spoiler restrictions placed on me by Wooly and his insanity about spoilers. Free. Because Wooly has decided that the moratorium on spoilers is that it's okay to spoil things that haven't come out yet and are in fact weeks into the future. So for those of you who aren't aware, earlier in the week, Wooly discovered that, or actually we all discovered that if I talk about a game that Wooly is interested in, but he doesn't want to get spoiled, he just turned brain off. The whole thing. The whole thing is gone. Oh no. To protect yourself. Despite talking about an 18-month-old raid series. But today, at the end of that raid series, until I texted him warning him that he was going to get Min banned from Final Fantasy XIV, he pulled up a fucking page of leaks off the subreddit that were data mined out of the game and was gonna read the fucking Nier quests from 3 weeks from now. And I almost got spoiled. I popped into the chat to see what was going on and saw people talking about data mining, and I'm like, I can't believe this. I literally can't believe this. He has lost his mind. He has gone crazy. Now, luckily, for the FF14 fans who were watching Wooly stream, I saved them by texting him, noticing, like, he could have totally gotten Min banned from FF14. That is a massive TOS violation. That is such a TOS violation that those posts are now actually banned on the Final Fantasy XIV subreddit, and will get you banned from the Final Fantasy XIV subreddit. I'm, like, I could be mad that I've wasted decades of conversations in which I had to dance around dialogue that no one in their right mind would consider a spoiler. But instead, I'm just... It's actually... You know, it's about perspective, right? Because you could be mad at all the wasted time. But instead, let's put a positive spin on this. The positive spin is the feeling that I have in my chest, which is, oh man, I've never been more right about anything in my entire life. I've never been more right about anything in my entire life. I'm the rightest I've ever been and might ever be. It feels great. It feels great. Das Base kicked in 29 months. Thank you. Pat, you should talk about FF14 on Wooly with Wooly on the podcast now that he streams at Kappa. That's right. He won't be able to pretend this week. He did see it. Unless he wasn't paying attention. Maybe he wasn't paying attention to the Nier stream that he was doing because his own stream might spoil him for the Nier raid. Is that possible? That's the next step, right? I have to close my eyes while playing it so that I don't spoil myself. Troll King asks, what a great name for this question. You say spoilers are dumb, but what if someone just told you who the killer was in Disco Elysium? I never said spoilers are stupid. I never ever said that. I said that people are too sensitive about them, particularly for old content or well-known content. People that get frustrated that you're talking about the ending to Romeo and Juliet, for example, are fucking ridiculous. People who watch something come into the pop culture and then leave the pop culture and only get to it 10 years later, only to become upset by discussion of non-plot critical details, are insane. Now, I'm of the opinion that if something enjoys a re-release, that you knock that moratorium back. Not to its original amount, but if there was a Romeo and Juliet... If you were, for example, going to see the Jet Li and DMX thriller, Romeo Must Die, you might genuinely expect to not be talking about the end of Romeo and Juliet because it might be a spoiler for the new movie. Oh, wait. DMX wasn't in Romeo Must Die? I thought they were in multiple movies. Whatever. Anyway. Right? If you were talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, for example, which is a much more... the fact that the anime series came out decades later means that unless you're talking to somebody who you know reads manga regularly, you should adjust your discussions appropriately. Right? These are all reasonable, I think. Like, if you're talking to somebody who's only watched the JoJo animes, you really shouldn't be talking about, like, the endings of Part 6 and shit like that. Yeah, it came out 15 years ago, but your friend is watching the anime, so it's not out yet. Right? Come on. I've always been of the opinion that spoilers and the spoiler discussion shouldn't have hard and fast rules. It's more about context and it's more about being reasonable, which is why it's so frustrating that because it doesn't have hard and fast rules that everyone can agree on, there are people that take it to the most unreasonable extremes possible. The most unreasonable extremes possible being, I don't want to know what actors are in this movie. Or, I don't care, man. Just tell me the ending right now. Fuck it. I'll blast it out a megaphone. Right? What's extra weird? What's extra odd is that there are people out there, if you can imagine it, that will simultaneously go on maddening media blackouts for properties only to become very upset if you mention anything about a real trailer that actually came out, while simultaneously, on at least 3 different occasions, laughing to the point of near vomiting at the video of that guy doing the Snape kills Dumbledore drive-by at the Harry Potter book release. Together, in one person, a font of infinite hypocrisy. They do exist.